Okay, my couture crafters, let's get into this video. My favorite card. This is the Sunny Studio stamp set. It's called Holiday Style, and I think this is going to be my favorite card of this year, just like the Ton was my favorite card last year. Let's see how to make this card. So I'm cutting it down to 9 by 8. So this is going to be a 4 by 9 card. It's a big one. I like them big, I think. Like these are much larger than I usually make. And so like that 11-inch card that I made earlier this year. So we're going to see how that works out for me. And we're busting out our Heartfelt Creations Floral Fashionista set. There are 3 different sets and I show you all the sets at the end. This one here, we are going to use the dress form. This is the actual card base that I'll be using, and I've scooted it over to the left just a little bit so that the dress form can hang off, because you know I like those long cards that something's hanging off of. I just like them. Tall and skinny, it's my thing. We're going to grab some Catherine Pooler ink, mainly because it's right in front of me, and it's right in front of me because it's my favorite. I have a Post-it that is blocking the bottom. Please remember to remove the Post-it before you stamp. It's a trick to keep it masked. And there we have it. Isn't that pretty? I kind of like it just like that. I mean, kind of. I'm using a Kirkland baby wipe, as always, to clean off my stamp. Now I'm using another Post-it. And I just need the bodice part. So I'm stamping it, and I'm going to use that as a mask. And I'm using a baby wipe to just wipe it off and clean it. Now I'm using a towel just to dry it off. Now I'm going to fussy cut. Anytime you see me do this, you know this is love. I hate to fussy cut. I'd rather have a machine do it, a die do it, whatever. But dies don't usually cut directly on the line, so. The Post-it note is sticky at the top, so I used a removable adhesive on the bottom. Now let's get to the fun part. I have not mastered this just yet. I think there are better ways to do this dress, but I only played with it one time, and I was too excited to get this card out. So you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. When I see it from this angle, I like where it started. I think when I started to fill it in is where I went left. So I like these stamps, like I like where we're going. This feels right, and I should have just, I don't know how I could have done this. I need to play with it. I think I'm going to make at least one more of these in purple and teal. I don't know why. And then maybe one in all white. I don't know why I want to do like a white version of this card. We shall see. So I'm using Lime Ricky first, and this is by Catherine Pooler, and it's just kind of a lime green. It's definitely one of the brighter greens. And now I'm just filling in some of those gaps with more branches. This is my favorite branch of the season. I mean, I have some more by Altenew, but I think Sunny Studio nailed it with this design. They have really good stamps. I think they're kind of underrated. Now we are going to use a different green, which just makes this pop, in my opinion. Watch what it looks like when you put it down. You're like, ooh, that's pretty. This is Grass Skirt by Catherine Pooler. And I'm looking at it, and bam. Ooh, do you see the depth? It's so strong, like this color. So I'm just filling in gaps, kind of giving it a shape. Trying to give it a shape. I don't know. Again, I'd like to play with this a little bit more so that I get that perfect placement, because I don't think this is it. I feel like this became a very messy tree when I had it kind of formed before. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about the tree. You guys have to let me know. So then I fill in at the bottom here, and you're going to see me actually stamp twice, because I did not use up all the ink. You can look to the right. You see all that ink still left there? And so I go ahead and just give it a little something there. And there we go. Now, this also comes in that same Sunny Studio stamp set, that holiday style. This is the most realistic ball you will see in stamps, period. I have not seen one that looks more realistic than this. And this is simply, it looks so three-dimensional. I'm using that eraser just to prep the stamp so that I get a more solid image. Before it was looking a little bit blotchy. And I stamped quite a few of these right across the top there. The ones at the bottom, I was testing the colors to see how light I wanted it, to see how dark, see what shades I wanted to use. And I ended up using, I think it's the Gentleman's Collection by Altenew to get the shades right. Then I just used the coordinating dies to cut them out. And I also used the bows that come in the set, which are also, I don't love that I use that coral color. This is my favorite part, guys. If you look at that little hanger, it really looks like it's hanging on the tree. This is like the best set ever. I think I used this set last year too. I will probably use it every year because I friggin' love it. It totally looks like it's hanging on the tree. It looks so three-dimensional. It's crazy. What else can I tell you? Yeah, the colors that I used for this, I think there was like the vineyard and some more Altenew colors. You know how they have the threes, but I just don't love that it's so corally. I think I could have chosen a different medium tone. Grab these stamps by Heartfelt Creations, and they come with the bodice. And there are the flowers, and there are 3 sets that come in there. And I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink because I'm going to do some Copic coloring. I'm not saying that this is the only ink you can use to Copic color, but this is my go-to. It's many people's go-to. I flipped that paper around and stamped it twice. I used way too many flowers. I cut out way too many. I only needed to do that one time. But I didn't know where I was going, so whatever. And now I cut out the bodice twice just in case I messed up. And I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to do this. I had no idea. It was just, had to try it. I'm using StazOn ink on glitter paper to see what would happen because I kind of wanted the laces to be glitter. However, when I stamped, you'll see, can't see it. You can kind of see it, but you can't see it. And I'm like, nope, it needs to have detail. So I also bought some mirrored cardstock by AC Cardstock, American Craft, and I'm using the StazOn because this is a non-porous paper. So StazOn ink is what's going to adhere to it. And there you go. You can actually see the bodice and you can see the design very well. I mean, not so well because of the glare, but you can see it. There it is. There she is. Pretty, beautiful bodice. I think Heartfelt Creations knocked it out the park with this one. Now I'm testing my Copic colors. I think I used, there is a part here where I think I actually showed the colors that I used. There they are. R35, R46, R59, and G99. You can totally pause that. I meant to pause it. I forgot to pause it. So sorry. Just grab some reds, because obviously look at how I'm coloring. I'm just throwing down color. This was super fast. I don't even know if this is super sped up. I'm throwing down color. I'm not trying to stay in between the lines because when you cut it out, a lot of the time you don't get all the color because, it cuts out that white on the outside. You'll see it happen to me, and then I have to go back through and correct it. If I were doing this again, when you watch Heartfelt Creations color some of their stuff, they just use a dauber. They literally just throw down color with daubers. And I kind of wish I had done that here. This took a little bit more time, and I didn't get the gradient that I was really kind of wanting, even though it really didn't matter. Nobody's going to be looking that closely at your flowers, I don't think. And if the flower police are looking that hard, well, God bless them. So I'm just kind of throwing down color, going back and forth, blending a little bit, trying to get the tips to be just a little bit darker, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I am not a Copic colorist. I know there are many people who do it and can kick tail with it, but it's not what I do. I just happen to own a bunch of Copic markers, and every now and then I like to bust them out and play. I've actually been coloring a lot more than I used to, which is good because I'm all into using stuff Use your things, guys. I like the way I colored that hat. The hat is sharp. So again, sticking with traditional holiday colors, just reds and greens. Just pull out some greens, guys. Pull out some reds or pull out whatever color you want to. And then here I am using, yes, I'm using a green marker because green and red make what? Brown, or a neutral color. And so I was able to darken this up and get a really nice dark color by using that dark green along with the red. Did you see that? I was eating turkey because it's Thanksgiving and I had to make this card. So yeah, I created this card, edited this card, voiceovered this card. I'm currently at work doing the voiceover, and yep, and I'm gonna post this card all on Thanksgiving. It's happening. And I think this is card number 8 out of 10, so I only have to do 2 more. And I really wanted to get this one done for you guys because in case you guys want to get like on a Black Friday deal or whatever, because I think people are really going to enjoy this, and Heartfelt creations are expensive. I'm using the coordinating dies here, guys. I colored it. You watched me. I cut it out with the coordinating dies. I cut out the mirror part. I just cut out the center part with the dies. You'll see the dies actually coordinate. So there's a center piece and the big corset piece that come in the set. And so now we're going to cut out all these flowers. Way too many flowers. All I needed to do was 1, but no. I thought I was going to put all the flowers all over the dress. But I like the bodice so much that that didn't work for me. So I like that bodice a lot. So I ran it through my Gemini and we just popped them out. Look at all those. Ridiculous. And then, look, white edges. Ugh, so annoying. So now I'm just going over, not neatly with the lightest color, and just filling in those white gaps. Because again, once you add texture to these flowers, nobody's going to be checking the coloring. So we are coloring all on the edges, just to get rid of any of those white marks. And we're going to do the same thing on this bodice. I could have gone over it with black, but it just would have been too harsh and it might have taken away with some of the details. So I'm using that lightest color. I use the same 3 colors or 4 colors throughout this entire project. The reds that I chose and the green one. I cut that out with the die, and now we're going to lay it over the stamped image. There are so many possibilities with this stamp set. They really did a good job with it. But of course, they're Heartfelt creations. Why wouldn't they? And now I'm checking to see how I want this to look. Do I want to put the hat on the shoulder? Do I want to put it on the top? I really struggled with that. I could not figure out where I wanted that hat to go because I kind of wanted you to see the whole dress form, but whatever. You get the point. So now I'm doing flower placement, trying to figure it out. And I'm like, all right, let me glue down the bodice. You see, I cut off the bottom part of the dress form. And you see that it's hanging off the side. That's by design. Because I, of course, could have made a card that fits this completely, but didn't want to. Now we've got to cut off that bodice. I'm using my guillotine trimmer. I glued that bodice, the dress form, directly down on the paper. I also glued this directly down on top of that. The center part with the laces, I added dimension to that. You'll see it coming up. So I am marking where I'm going to want to cut that because it's going to be hanging off and I don't want it hanging off. And I like where I placed this because I didn't lose a lot. See? I only colored just a little bit that I didn't use. That makes me happy. I didn't waste a lot of that Copic coloring. Love where this is placed, guys. I could still see a little bit of the white, so I'm going back through it and just adding a little bit of color. And now let's glue that puppy down. That sentiment is from that holiday style set by Sunny Studios. And I think it says, believe the magic in Christmas. I think so. Magical. You know me and the magic. Disney magic all day long. This is the Petite Florals shaping kit. I like to shape flowers with the little ball and you roll it. And if you've never seen somebody do it, it's kind of interesting to add dimension to your flowers and your cards and things. This does it in a hurry. Throw the cards down, close it, run it through your die cut machine, not your Gemini. And watch when I open it, they have these impressions on them. Look, see? They have little veins in them that you can't see. They're all curled up. I sprayed it with just a little bit of water before I closed it up. Now I'm grabbing these stamens that you can get off Amazon or by Heartfelt Creations and this golf tool set. It looks like it's a golf tool set. It has the little lines in there to make the lines in the flowers if you wanted to do it by hand. And here's like a mouse pad-ish kind of mat that you put the flowers on and you can shape them and poke holes in them. When you poke a hole in this mat, it does nothing to the mat. It's like a self-healing mat. Nothing happens. So I'm grabbing a couple of stamens off. All I do is just cut it. There's some that are wired. These are just string. And you just put a little dab of glue and you shape the flower around it. And there you have a flower with the stamen. Of course, you can put multiple stamens in there. You can add multiple flowers. I could have cut some of these flowers in green, which would have looked like leaves. You can stack them, but I'm just using them as one layer today with the stamen. A little bit of art glitter glue and just pull it straight down and bam, there you go. Now I want to add dimension to that mirrored piece, which is the laces in the bodice, which I love. You guys, I could do this all day. I can think about 10 different ways to use that stamp set. There's another bodice in there that I might try to use before the season is up. I might do another one of these. I'm cutting these little guys in half. These tweezer bead tweezers are non-stick, and so are those Tim Holtz scissors. They're great to use with something like this. And there we've got some dimension. Before I add the flowers, I want to be sure to do my sentiment because it's going to have a lot of dimension when I add those flowers. And I'm sure you're thinking, well, how are you going to put it in an envelope and mail it? I'll show you. Just wait. Or you've been watching my video. In my last 3 videos, I've done dimensional envelopes. So here I am putting the flowers on my card. Those bows and bells have already been glued on. These are the last piece. Actually, they're not. Well, kind of. They're the last big things that are going on there. Believe in the magic of Christmas. That's what it says. How cute is that? I should have grabbed one of those holiday style. Do I have a holiday style kit? I feel like the Ton has something that's like Christmas in style, but I think it has to do with buying shoes. I put some dimensional adhesive on the back of this hat, and I ended up covering up the top of that hat. I mean, the top of the dress form, which makes me kind of sad, but you get what you get. Stickles. I bet you guys haven't seen stickles in forever. There are so many other ways to put glue on glitter on stuff nowadays, but I'm using old school stickles, and I love it. I use a little bit of the red on the flowers, and then I use the green on the green. Now I'm showing you guys these stamp sets in case you guys want to purchase them. This is by, again, Sunny Studio. And the other ones are by Heartfelt Creations. Again, Heartfelt Creations is expensive. So if you want to get it and they're having a sale, now would be the time to do it. So we got the Floral Fashionista collection. And then these are kind of the additions to it, the elements of fashion, the floral corset, and then the other floral corset set. And these are all the dies that go with it. So I have 3 stamp sets, 3 die sets, and then the Sunny Studio set. This is an old paper pack that I think I got from Michael's. Why is it the only Christmas pack that I have? When I destashed all of my paper, I got rid of all of my Christmas papers. And this is the only Christmas paper that I have, which stinks. But I'm going to make a December daily, I think, because God forbid I not add another project to the list. And I'm going to go try to see if Michael still has some Christmas pads that I might like. Or just one pad, because I'm only making one December daily. And I'm not allowed to hoard paper, but I've had a time this holiday season trying to make envelopes. Okay, so this is going to be one of those 1/4 envelopes. So this is, I think I cut this down to 11 and 3/8 or 10 and 5/8. I don't know. I have a video on how to do this. So basically, you find the dimensions that you need to cut your card and you increase it by 1/4. And then you do everything the same to make a little box card. You just increase everything by 1/4. I have 2 other videos before this that show you how to do it. And now I'm just cutting out those little tabbies. And there you go. Basically, this is a box. It's just an envelope kind of box. And again, you just find your dimensions and increase. You start where they tell you to, and then increase it by 1/4 on all sides. Punch and score, and you'll come up with this. I might do a video on just this with no card attached to it so that people can really see, because watch this, when I put that card in there, you'll be able to see that that 1/4 inch makes a big difference. It's like a little box. I'm not saying that the mailing company is going to really respect it, but at least you've got a little give in there. You know what I mean? I'm using double-sided adhesive to just pull it closed. My edges are not perfect, but they're close enough for me. And here we go. We're putting that beautiful card in there, and you see, your flowers have room to breathe. I'm grabbing 3 black heart wax molds, melted them down in my little melter. And today I'm using a Disney seal because it's got a big D on there, and the person who's receiving this, her name starts with a D. And it says, believe in the magic of Christmas, and what's more magical than Disneyland? You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this card, and happy Thanksgiving.